So, oh my God, it's been amazing. Like, it's just been really amazing. I'm so glad that everybody came out and just turned out really nice. You know, I'm on the board of directors and an advisory at my shelter. And so, you know, Don Poole and I grew up when we were young. And I just said to him, because I actually been doing business here with him, like, you know, booking like big groups event for birthday parties and things like that. So I said, Poole, we should actually do something with my shelter. I need you to sponsor 10 of my girls. And his mouth was like this. He's like, make that happen. So I did in 1 week. We're actually feeding 10 women right now from my shelter. And I mean, they were crying. They were so, I mean, they was
just. Had me crying.
Yeah. Oh, you was crying too? Yeah. And then so I surprised them with Mariah Lynn. I just met her like literally maybe 2 months ago. And I mean, like, I just love her spirit. It's just so real. You know what I mean? Like, she's really doing a lot on Love and Hip Hop, trying to grow, trying to expedite herself to another level. And that's what I like about her. She's not trying to stay dormant. She's trying to take it to another level. And then she's always being like hit with like, you know, that, because I'm from the hood, so I know how that can be. You know what I mean? We don't punk down for nothing. You know what I mean? So I like that in her because she's so little, but at the same time, she hates when she gets back to that level. And she's always fighting to get up, you know?
Right.
So, girl.
Can I ask you, like, how do you feel now having finally released that? Because there's, you know, this is your first time really telling that story. Like, how does it feel right now?
Like, ever. Like, I don't even tell that story to people that I'm dating or something. You know, like, even if I'm getting serious, but it felt really good. And like seeing one of the girls like break down and cry because her story is so relatable to mine, it just made me feel really, really like overjoyed to be here again, because it's like I love giving back, obviously, to like the kids and stuff like that, but it's really like there's women out there who are going through the same thing you're going through. You may not think so, but for me it was more of like a release, you know?
Is it that you feel like you were able to give back this time on like more of an emotional and relatable level?
I feel like I wasn't giving my story for a check, and I was giving my story for a meaning, for a purpose, you know, for these girls to know that just because I'm a public figure or I'm, you know, a celebrity doesn't mean that I'm perfect or I picked the right men. Like, you know, we're all women.
Keeping it real, you know, and that's what, you know, domestic violence is all about, not holding back, you know what I mean, letting people know. When somebody tell you to keep something quiet, never, trust me, it's never a good thing to keep it quiet. You need to let it out. And from what I've always noticed, you know, with domestic violence, that we always have to speak up. You know, it's not our fault, and a lot of times that we do things, you know what I mean, and we always keep it silent because we feel that we are the fault of what we, you know, have actually got ourselves into. Like, a lot of women used to ask me, like, why you stay so long, why you this and that, why you don't, you you a fighter, you a bad girl, why you this and that. I said, it's not as easy as you think. When you get into these relationships with these sheeps in wool clothing, these dudes transform. I'm gonna say they transform. These dudes be looking like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on a quickness. Like, they come in like, hey baby, I love you, everything is good, and then tomorrow be like, bitch. You like, who are you? Who are you?
Something to you that you've never really felt before.
Exactly.
So what are some other signs that you guys seen?
Control is number one. I'll let her emphasize that.
Control is very important, and one thing I've learned within my career, within my life, within my personal experience and being in an abusive relationship is that without control, you literally are spiraling. You know, and when I say spiraling, I mean like you're gonna end up at rock bottom, and when you hit that rock bottom, you're either gonna hit too hard where you're gonna lose yourself, and a lot of women tend to turn to, you know, drugs and, you know, becoming sex workers, and then they get pimps, and you know, it's a repetitive cycle of abuse that we need to start nipping in the bud now, you know, and let these men know that we are fragile creatures. Like, we're women, we're strong, you know, but at the end of the day, like, you're a man. That was my whole thing. Like, you're a man. Like, I can try to beat you as much as I want, but I can't beat you. And you know that. So they know they have us beat, and that's their upper hand. And that's where the control becomes something where you have to have control over the situation and over yourself to be able to be strong enough, like Jackie said, to walk away, because love is very blind. We all know that. We've all been deeply in love, and you know, I was very scared to leave my situation because I didn't have nowhere to go.
Right.
I didn't have no, you know, one to take me in to help me.
And that's one of the reasons why women stay in these relationships, because they don't have any financial stability. They always stay in because
That's a big,
you know, the guys them be having the money, and the guys them is controlling with the money. So you feel a need to want to stay in these relationships with these guys because of financial hardship. You know, and one of the things, just to piggyback off of that word strong, I've been hearing it so much. I actually posted the other day in my DM, and I was like, you know, yeah, it's cool to be strong, but fuck being strong, because who cares when you're weak? You know what I mean? That's the real deal. Like, when you're weak and you're very vulnerable and you really want people to know that you're going through something, nobody gives a fuck. Excuse my French, but they really don't.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? Nobody don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So, you know, sometimes you just gotta hold your own until something better comes out of it. But I always say, as an advocate for 15 years, like, who would think it could happen to me? But if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. Because my pedigree in the streets is not to be messed with. I'm one of those nonchalant, not because I'm big, but because I'm a nonchalant type of a woman. I raised 2 boys at the age of 15 years old. I take no shit, but discipline is everything to me. I don't play with discipline. And so, being that said, like every man, I've never had a man that ever enhanced who I am as Jackie Rowe, aka Jackie Tyson, aka all my alias. I've always found that dudes were inferior, or either what's that word? Intimidated. I hate that word. You know what I hate?
Yes.
Because when I say this, and I'm gonna be very honest, when a dude tell me he's intimidated, I said, you a bitch.
Yeah.
You a real dude, because I believe that men's are men's and they are strong. And men's, that's why we have men, M-A-N, and we have women, W-O-M-A-N, not you, I'm sorry, W-O-M-A-N, woman. You understand me? So we need that man to cultivate us, to make us feel good, to make us feel happy, to make us, and most of all, to make us feel courageous. We need that man to make us feel courageous. I've never had a man to do that for me, never. And instead, I've been in abusive relationships since I was young. I didn't understand at the time what that was. I thought it was cute. Oh, he on my shit, he jocking me, control. That was like when I was 15. And you think that, you get those signs misconstrued, because when a dude starts sweating you, you like, oh my God, he clocking me. Oh girl, he clocking my phone. He loves me. You know, he on my But girl, that was the wrong, because that's the first sign of abuse. Control.
Do you know where we could
Once
actually
that-
be at in life if we had a man that
Right.
build us up?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we need.
We stay
need
building men up.
Yeah, exactly. We always building up these weak dudes, and even the weak ones that's the most dislikeful looking ones, they turn out to want to dish you too. After a while, you dress them, you pick them up, you like, get them everything, don't worry, I got you. They don't turn around, they shit on you, they go to the next chick. You know
So
what I mean?
what do you think that it is though? Like, do you feel like it's something that they're used to? Like,
They weren't raised.
they're used to their family members being abusive, or do you think that it's something
Absolutely.
in you, in your strength, like you said, is intimidating, but he feels like he can't be the man that he wants to be because you are the woman that you are. But then want to still be with you at the same time, like,
because he's a loser, and not nothing for men. He's a loser, straight up and down loser. He's a loser. I'm gonna keep it 100. This is just who I am. At the end of the day, you a loser. You know what I'm saying? Because if you come to the table, I'm your blanket. You understand me? And you come to the table with the pillow and the sheets, then that's how we gonna spread the bed. But if you come to my bed half-assed, then you know what I'm saying? Always, you know, thinking, you know, looking at me for things that you know I didn't do, but it's things that you have done. That's always the guilt, because we always feel like a dude always try to flip stuff and make it feel like we did something was really them. But at the end of the day, let's go deeply. Depression is one of the biggest things that we have out here. You understand me? Depression, and most of these guys, they're very depressed, and they come from broken homes. Our black men, some of the white men, they come from real broken homes. It's not just now, it's actually been happening ancestry times ago. Like their family, it goes all the way genetically back to their mothers, their great grandmothers and stuff like that, there was really no real strong foundation for them. And then when a woman was considered strong, the father would try to belittle her and break her down. And so you can't have that in a home. You can't have that. So you guys experience like
Yes, I feel like everybody, if we can like tell your stories or say something that you've seen or you heard or whatever, I feel like that'll be important for us to share.
Because I'll be honest, like I low-key just walked away from a situation that you can consider as a domestic violence situation, where it was mental abuse and physical abuse at some point, and most of it I blamed myself, and I felt guilty when I decided to walk away because I'm like, but he did this for me, but you know what I'm saying?
Comparison.
But, yeah, exactly. And
There's
it's
no
like,
comparison.
well, let me weigh the pros and the cons. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing all that because it's just like, you know, not for nothing. A lot of men play games, so you think because they're giving you so much, then that's worth holding on to.
that's the G. That's the G.
Exactly.
That's
And
the
not
G.
something, sometimes our strength is also our weakness. Because
Right.
for me, I live with PTSD, and it's like I feel like everyone feels I'm being strong all the time. But I forbid myself to love. I forbid myself
It's a
to
defense
feel.
mechanism.
I don't want to feel anything because I don't want to go through that ever again.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that turns from a strength to a weakness. It looks strong to everybody else, but I'm not happy. I just look like I am.
And one thing my friend actually told me that what made me actually walk away from the situation, she said, what state of mind were you in when you met that person?
Girl,
And
seriously.
that's what I realized was the trigger, because it's like I knew at the time I met that person, I was in a vulnerable state. I was very depressed. I was moving. It was a lot going on at the time. And it was like almost like, oh, here's this hero with the cape on.
A sense of security.
Exactly.
And men like that, they want us to be weak, but in no reality, like Jackie said, they come from broken homes. They come from, you know, negligent parents and stuff like that. And really, in no reality, they're the weak ones.
Yes, very much so.
And you know
And
what,
then you feel
Mariah,
obligated
we
to
look
fix
at them. We
them.
look at them like they really want to try.
Yes.
Like
we feel
we get a weakness in our stomach.
fall in love with their
Oh my
potential.
God, they're
Well, that's
so
what-
broken. Let's fix it.
Yeah, that's
We
one
wanna
of the
fix
that's one of the
everybody.
reasons why I studied mines for 10 years, and people thought I was crazy because you know me, I'm a nurturer since I was 15. I had my first son, so I'm just regularly a nurturer. So I'm thinking, okay, I can fix everything. I call myself Captain Ho, Captain. I'm always thinking I can fix every situation. There's nothing broken that I can't fix. That's Jackie Rowe for you, okay? But it comes to time. Let's piggyback off of what you said, because one thing I always very stress to these girls and everybody: after you break up from a relationship, please give yourself time to love you,
Yes,
to
and
get to
heal.
know
Thank
you.
you.
Yes.
Heal
So
yourself.
don't just go jump in a
into it.
relationship with someone else and thinking he's going to be the fixer. He's only a sheep in clothing waiting for it, because right now, what we in November, cuffing season is around.
Right.
Cuffing season is
They
here
wanna
right
lay
now,
up.
and all of these guys that prey on women's big, skinny, small, was depressing. Oh baby, I love you. Don't worry about it, baby. You know I got you. You know what I'm saying? And then they jump in the crib. And then they take everything over. And one thing I don't like, and I stress, if it's a woman that has a daughter, please take caution to having and bringing a person in your home when you have a daughter, because that is the most demeaningful thing you can ever do to yourself. Know who this person is, because we know the chains of what sexual abuse starts from. It'll start from family members in your family, but it also starts from your mother's boyfriend.
Oh, very
If
much
that's
so.
not the father, biological father, got some of those perverts out there too. We're not gonna put them like they don't do it too. But be very careful where right this time when you have going out there and bringing a stranger in your home. That's very, very, very a danger side, to make sure you know that these dudes is the right person you're bringing in your home when you got a daughter. I don't play with that.
And don't be lenient at all, like in any kind of way, because I know growing up, you know, my mother, for example, she was a young mother too. She had me when she was 15, pregnant at 14. And then my dad, like her and my dad weren't like a couple, so he met my stepmom, and now he's been married to her for 27 years. I'm 28. Right. So most of my life he's been with, and I can understand how that is with my mom, because my mom was, I didn't find out till I was older, but she was molested by her brother and sister's father.
Wow, see? There it is.
And my
There it
grandmother
is.
didn't. you know, my grandmother would always say, well, who told you to walk around with your friends with my negligees on? Oh, who told you to walk around with little shorts and
And that's
stuff?
the problem. We blame the girls so much.
Victim blaming, yeah.
Right,
So much.
and that's why my mom would tell me, you know, that's why I got pregnant, because I wanted to so badly escape the abuse that I literally forced myself to grow up
Yeah.
and have you.
Yeah.
And there's a story that I like when you talk about that, because it's a different abuse.
Yeah.
About your mother actually beating you a lot. And I mean, I really hear that sometimes, but that is a big part of abuse, because when you're comfortable, I like how you told me that on the phone, but explain this to them, because she was so comfortable with her mother abusing her and beating her that when a man started doing, she thought it was natural.
I thought it was love.
Especially when
he
it comes
loves
from your
me.
father.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes from your father. Well, even if it's not necessarily physical abuse, when your father's like mentally abusing you, emotionally abusing you, and taking you for granted, not being the father that you
Not the stand-up
you
guy that
see,
you
like
want.
because we have this standard for certain things, and we have that for dads. So when they don't feel that expectation, you get so used to being treated less than, and you know, a man comes in and they give you just a little bit more. It's like this is different. This is something that's better. This is love.
But for me, I feel like, you know, like my father, like I said, was away for 10 years, and now he's very much so like the favorite parent, you know, obviously. I have a great relationship with my father, and I now see the difference in my choice of men that he's involved in my life.
Yeah.
And you really see that a daughter does need her father, but most of all, you would think that a mother, being a woman, would protect her daughter by any means, you know.
Well, what I find usually is that when a mother is broken already, it's hard for her to.
And
be
that's
able
my
to be
point,
that
is
person,
because my father hurt my mother, because her stepfather hurt her, because men after him hurt her. You know, it was
But
always
she never dealt with that.
a rebellion, and she hasn't dealt with it.
Right.
So I'm happy to be able to be here and deal with my, you know, issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how did you guys get through your situations though, so we can wrap it up?
Right.
How I got out of my situation from being a domestic violence racial, this girl had the nerve to call my house and tell me that my boyfriend at the time, my common law husband, got her pregnant. I was like, oh yes, girl, yeah. She thought I was crazy. She thought I was crazy.
for a reason to
Yeah, I
leave
was
them.
looking for it because I've been trying to. I did order of protections, and back then I lived with my boyfriend for 9 years, so it's considered a common law.
Yeah,
They would
wow.
not let him
Considered
come.
married,
Yeah,
legally.
yeah. So when the girl called me, I just came from, I don't know, Paris somewhere, and I get home and this girl like, hello, Jackie. I said, yeah. She said, oh, you know, I said, I'm pregnant. I said, oh, whoopie do, thank you, good for you. I said, but do me one favor, don't call back my number.
Okay.
Because I don't care. She's like, are you crazy? I said, no, you crazy, because you don't know who you're talking to on the other side of this phone. But that's how I got out of my true story be told. I got out of it 25 years now. That's how I got out of mine.
Wow.
What about
It's
you?
crazy.
I got out of my relationship with that abusive person when it came down to a point where it was the last straw, like the last fight. Like he had busted my car windows, he had spread dog feces around my car handles, like I couldn't drive nowhere, I had to steam my hot water, like it was really bad. And then the last time was just, I had got my own apartment and I broke up with him, and then I let him come back in, and every time I would let him come back in, it would be the same thing, and he would beg and plead. So
cycle.
this special time, this was my apartment now. Normally we would fight in his apartment, you know, when I didn't have anything, and he would break his stuff. But now we're in my apartment, and you're breaking my stuff. My
totally
things.
different.
This is the things that I worked so hard for, not being on Love and Hip Hop yet. You know, I was a dancer, a go-go dancer, and I was a bartender after that. So I worked hard and had to, you know, talk to a lot of men I didn't want to talk to, and be a therapist, and be a doctor, and be, you know, an entertainer. So for me, it was just the last straw. And that last uppercut he hit me with, I couldn't breathe for 5 minutes. I felt like,
Wow.
I lost my breath, like I was literally like that.
Wow.
And after that, I called my brothers. My brothers came. They escorted him out the home, and that was it. And I went and
Crazy
put a
that you have
restraining order.
brothers.
Right.
Man, and
that's
nobody
usually, but
knows.
that's usually what it is. And so, you know, I want to also say to, like, you know, fear, guilt, and those things is usually what holds you back.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
I don't know if I have the answers to anyone that's dealing with it as to how to walk away. I feel like you only know when it is your last straw. I can only hope that some people, their last straw isn't when they're already,
I can tell you this: when you have a child, you understand what real love is.
Yeah.
And what you thought you had for a man, it's no comparison to how you feel for your child.
Just thank you so much to the Brooklyn Chap House for honoring us and giving me the opportunity to feed 10 women today. And thank you to Mariah Lynn for coming out, to just being the face behind of it and breaking her silence. Thank you to Wonder Woman Foundation, I Am Wonder Woman Foundation, for putting it together real quick, just getting incentives and things that to make the girls feel real special. Thank you to my girlfriend Tiffany, to my girlfriend Rena. Thank you to Stress. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to all you bloggers that came out to make this such a phenomenal event. 2018, Face My Abuse. Always remember, face your abuse. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Could we get a
Kiki, do you love me? When you riding, say you'll never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you, and I'm down for you always, KB. Do you love me? While you're riding, say you'll never ever leave from beside me.